How's it going, guys? Welcome to the stream. It's been a long time, or it feels like it's been a really long time. I think it's only been like a week, maybe 2 weeks or something. But my internet connection is a lot better than it was last time, and I've redone everything with OBS. And last time it was, it was a good stream, but it was not a planned stream or anything like that. Hello, Hellfrog. Hello, Paul Artola. Let me know if there's any glitches or anything going on. I think I've got this dialed in pretty well. I was actually able to do a test stream at 1440p, and it looked crystal clear, like surprisingly clear. But this is just 1080p. Hopefully it looks great. Hello, Angel from Argentina. No real agenda for this stream. I just wanted to catch up with you guys, just see how are you doing, because it's been a rough year so far, right? Tower Studios, Matthew Kirchhoff. Hey, how's it going, guys? Actually, the only thing that's changed with my computer system since the last stream is getting new monitors, and so I've got these Dell 27-inch 1440p monitors, and they're awesome. They're huge. They take up so much of my desk, but like, it's just fantastic to be able to have, like, basically two 1080p screens, or almost four 1080p, four 720p screens, essentially, side by side. So I've got my Streamlabs, I've got my Reaper window up here, I've got Windows Explorer and iTunes and everything going. And so, yeah, things have been good. I recorded a video this week, or actually today, about a special paste function. It's a custom action that basically pastes in and fills the selection. So it's designed especially for using filling gaps in recordings, like for room tone. So I'm going to edit that later today. But other than that, I just want to hang out. I want to talk to people. I want to see how you guys have been doing. Actually going to move this. Bear with me one sec. I want to get my feed set up slightly different here. No, that's not what I wanted to do. That's all right. Paul, what was your new video on? Something that's been on my mind is, since so many people are working from home right now, what's your go-to lunch? What do you cook for yourself for lunch when you're working from home? Cycle Production. Hi, thanks for all your tutorials and cool features. They're very helpful. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. Video on VCV Rack plus Apple loops, or acid loops. Cool. Yeah, love VCV Rack. Wish I could really learn it and get inside of that. But there's just so much going on. Keeping up on all the Reaper stuff is just, that fills my mind. Hellfog, don't really eat lunch. You should eat lunch. I don't really eat breakfast. I don't eat until 11 a.m. So one of my go-tos is a grilled cheese sandwich. Lately I've been eating just a lot of toast and cereal, just because it's like the fastest thing. Quesadillas, fried rice, paninis. I love taking some leftover pulled pork and putting some cheese and barbecue sauce on a sandwich and then grilling that. That's amazing. That it's heavy, but it definitely improves my day. Tower Studios, yeah, I know it's Brett. Okay, you have a new YouTube account. I recognize the name. I didn't know that it was a new YouTube account. You went vegetarian with the lockdown. That's cool. That's awesome. I wish I could say my eating habits improved, but they've actually kind of gotten worse. I guess we've been eating more vegetarian or meat-free meals more recently just because it's a little more cost-effective. We've been eating a lot more beans. We've had several lentil meals. And yeah, it's just the meat prices went up, and it's just we don't want to go to the store so often, so we're eating more beans. Drink 2 glasses of water. Yeah, first thing in the morning, gotta have a glass of water. I drink a lot of water. Salad with mackerel. I don't know if I could eat fish during the day. Evening, like dinner time, sure, but I don't know about in the morning. Bagels with lox and cream cheese. It's good. Tuna melts. Yeah. Tuna melts. Beans give so much gas. Sure, but like you're working from home, you're not going to disturb anyone, really. Michael has a question. How do you convert an audio file like a full drum track to MIDI in Reaper, imported file from somewhere else, and have been trying to figure it out? I've got a couple videos on things like that. Or one comes to mind. It's drum sample replacement, 4 ways, something like that. And one of those ways converts to MIDI. There are lots of different ways to do that. So let's switch over to Reaper. So so if you just want to get the drum hits, you can use something like dynamic split, which is, I think, in the view menu. Maybe it's an edit menu. Item. I don't see it. It's in the item menu. Dynamic split items. You can split selected items, and you can use the create chromatic MIDI item. And then you select all the MIDI notes and you put them on a single note. I've done it that way. There are I haven't organized my plugins yet. I haven't even installed most of my plugins yet on this system. Regate can send a MIDI note if you enable this toggle. So that's one way you can do a real-time audio to MIDI conversion. I think there's a JS plugin. Audio to MIDI drum trigger. This one's built in. So I don't know. Yeah, so you MIDI channel and MIDI note here. And then various things to tweak. Yeah, those are the built-in options that come to mind. There's probably one or two others. If I want something really accurate, I use the slate trigger. I record it to a track, and then I manually tweak things. All right, back to the chat. Eat more beets. Maybe I should eat beets. We don't eat, it's definitely not part of our diet. The kids are very picky, so especially my son, he doesn't eat nearly anything. He'll eat cheese quesadillas and then complain about it, but he won't We have tacos like 3 times a week, and yeah, you won't try anything. What do you work on besides making videos for Reaper? Yeah, this is pretty much my job now. I can't say I'm like a full-time YouTuber, because there's a lot of parts of the Reaper blog that contribute to the income, but and the videos themselves are not. It's not like AdSense is my main income. It's having the courses on the website that I've been making for 5 years, having this backlog of 500 videos or 600 videos or whatever it is now, just, you know, getting a little bit of AdSense income. I've got the Patreon, I've got YouTube memberships, I've got super chats from doing live streams, I have donations, and I have lessons. And then besides that, I have some audio engineering work, so mixing, mastering, noise reduction sort of projects, podcast production. We do the Mastering Show podcast with Ian Shepherd, and that is a paid job as well. So there's lots of things, but yeah, I think everyone that has some sort of online business kind of has many income streams, and you know, it's not just one thing. I don't think I could rely completely on just recording singer-songwriters or something like that. I got to have all these income streams, because you never know which one is, you know, some glitch one month just makes it not work or anything like that. And 2 other things that I forgot was like Amazon affiliate links. What else? There's sponsored posts, and there's other affiliate programs that I will mention and or just have links to on the website, and that comes in. Let's see. It's possible to sidechain to channels 3 and 4 or other track automatically in Reaper. Yeah, that's actually really easy. And I'm sure that I've shown this in multiple videos, but nonetheless, so we put in our compressor. So let's do, I think the Townhouse compressor has sidechain. Yeah. So this one has sidechain input on channels 3 and 4. But this track doesn't have channels 3 and 4 yet. So you just drag from the sending track into the plugin, and now the track has 4 inputs, and this track is already routed audio 1 and 2 into 3 and 4, and in here it's done. So that's it. So that'll work with a lot of the third-party plugins. Just make sure that they say 4 inputs at the top, and the Reaper built-in plugins like Recomp, Regate, maybe one of the other ones will have that as well. Oh, Tower Studios already got that answer. I'm behind. Yeah, there is also a shortcut. There's one. Create regate sidechain routing. Control Alt Win X. I think you have to point your mouse at one of the tracks and then select one of the tracks. Control Alt Win. Something like that. Yeah, okay, so you select the sending track. No. Yeah. Select the sending track, point the mouse at the receiving track. And there's one for Recomp as well. These will be in, what's the plugin called? These are in Repack. All right. Okay, question about the new computer. I need a link. I need to put a link in here. I'll put a link to my streaming PC. Oh, it won't let me comment here. Okay, let's see. All right, so yeah, this PC specs are listed in my kit page. But basically, it's a Ryzen 5 3600, 16 gigs of RAM, an RX 570 8 gig video card. Cool. You've been using Reaper since 92. I don't believe you. Low cuts. Anybody having scanning issues till Reaper crashes since the new build? I haven't noticed anything like that. Yeah, Reaper's been running really well for me. But I haven't done that much on my new system. I don't have a lot of plugins installed because it's boring, and like I just haven't felt like making music or anything like that. I've tried a couple times, played guitar a little bit, programmed some drums, played synth, and I don't like it. So I don't know, maybe we'll get to that later today, but kind of just want to hang out, chill, answer some questions. So if Reaper's crashing on loading with scanning plugins, you may have to adjust your settings for the plugins. And so the file you're looking for is called, I lost it, I had it right there. VST Reaper-VST effects path.ini. I'll just show you here. That's not it. This one. No, that's not it. I thought it was this one. And it's empty. I thought it was this one, but it's empty. Which one is it? Effects. It's not effects folders. It's maybe it's in the INI. It might be in Reaper.ini. Yeah, it's at the. It's right here. VST path 64 equals, and then just take out some of these so it can get through the scanning a few at a time, and then add them in. Yeah, that's what I do. Adam at Hot Pole Studios is also live. Well, maybe we'll raid his stream when we're done here. But I appreciate you hopping on this stream instead of his for now. Any news on big features coming from the devs? I don't know. Yeah, really don't know. wish my Stream Deck worked the same on Mac as it does on Windows, because I keep losing this the Streamlabs window. Keep losing my buttons, and I have to switch back and forth between things in an annoying way. Yeah, I thought that VST thing was actually in a separate file, because when I moved over to the PC, I had to clear a lot of things. But yeah, it is in reaper.ini. It's crazy on Windows how many different folders there are, because there's only like 2 folders on Mac where all VSTs go, and on Windows I've got like 6 folders now. And questions came here to say thank you. Well, thank you for watching. Appreciate that. Biggest problem with Reaper is the sequencer. I hate it. I mean, it depends on what you're doing. I've done a lot of things to customize it. So for me, it's very comfortable, but the default toolbar is terrible. Like it doesn't have like any of the things that you need. So that's a big deal, being able to like easily switch between piano editing mode and drum editing mode, where I've got the named notes, and if I had a couple notes in here, I could only show those used notes or only named notes. Being able to expand the zoom and things like that makes a big difference. Customizing the zoom and scroll shortcuts, all that kind of stuff, that's super important. I really love that shortcut I set up a while ago for inserting notes with different velocities under the mouse cursor. I've been using that a ton. So yeah, I've got lots of videos on customizing the MIDI editor, but I understand, like, if you want something like FL Studio's sequencer, something like that, then it's never going to be that. Okay, plugin libraries. Oh, there's a bunch of questions that I'm falling behind on the chat. Sorry, guys. Jason, am I going to do a series on using Reaper for scoring or composition to video? Have I done that already? I have not done that. I don't think I will do that, but I like the idea. I'm not a composer, so I wouldn't do that. Yeah, there are other people that would probably be able to do that, but they don't really make tutorial videos. So, I mean, maybe I'll make a note of that and at some point, yeah. You might like Eric W's channel. He did the reticulate tutorial on my site recently. And what am I looking for? You might like Eric W's channel. He is a composer that uses Reaper, and he's going to be doing some guest posts with me and stuff like that. So yeah, I would recommend his channel if you are into composing and using Reaper. Hada just updated his track templates to have audio previews while browsing. Going to be a good solution for managing large libraries of presets without having to try them one at a time. That's very interesting. I did not know about that. That's super cool. Low cuts, if you're looking for a good sequencer, I like the one that's in Geist. I like the one that's in the Loop Cloud Play plugin as well. I mean the Loop Cloud Drum plugin. The recent update of this has put in like everything I would have wanted into it. So it's got a built-in sequencer. So velocities, you can roll, things like that. 2 patterns. And once you get it set up the way that you like, you can import it into Reaper. So you hit the export button, go to the MIDI page, render MIDI, and then you can drop that in. So yeah, that's one way of quickly programming in a very traditional drum sequencer type of way. So yeah, it would probably be worth getting just for that, especially if you're doing like electronic music, beat making sort of things. Dexter says, I emulated the FL sequencer with Sequencer Baby and a bit of riveting. Works very well. Yeah, I don't use that one that much, but if you can get it working, that's cool. It goes out of sync. Don't know. I don't think I've used it enough to notice that it goes out of sync. But it's not like the Roland step sequencers, and I think that's what most people like. It's just very straightforward, easy to learn. Like my kids can figure it out. But Reaper doesn't have a view that's just like that built in. How important do you believe preamps are for recording vocals? Do you have some preamps worth investing in? I used to buy a lot of preamps. I think audio interfaces have gotten a lot better recently. I'm using an Arturia audio fuse these days. And one of the main things for me, not for recording vocals, but like for recording my voice, it had to be able to power or handle a SM7 without any additional hardware. And this one does that. It has a built-in boost, which is really nice, and it's low noise. Before that, I was using this one. So it's not plugged in. All my rack, I haven't used any of my rack gear. The try zooming in. There we go. Pre-73. It's a big bulky thing. And that's a nice sounding, colorful preamp. It's a Neve sort of clone, but it's cheap. They're like $300. Actually, I should probably check that. They're probably more like $500, but they're very nice. But they're not super clean. And for me, clean was more important. I also have the Art Pro MPA too, but I haven't turned that on probably in 3 years. Okay, so Steve also wanted to know about the preamps. Yeah, Loop Cloud sequencer, when did that happen? Within the last year, a little while ago. I think it was after my first video on Loop Cloud. I don't know. When you're using subprojects, how can you clean up the main and subprojects of unused WAV files when cleaning up after some sound design? I don't really use subprojects, but I would say the kind of the same way you would normally clean up a project of unused files. There's that menu option in the file menu. Personally, I would just leave it alone until the project is is finished. I don't usually delete anything unless the project is published, and I would rather archive it as is than to like make it minimal and possibly lose something. Carl asked about the theme modifying video. How do you modify a theme so that the tint, waveform, and waveform background options and preferences are not grayed out? I feel like I just looked that up for someone and I've already forgotten. It's under color themes, and so you unpack your theme and you find RT config. You find RT config, and it's right here, tint TCP. I believe it's this, and this is not like a normal number. This is the things that I've seen for modifying this are some sort of conversion from binary. I may have made a note of this. Give me a sec. I did not. I thought I had it saved in my Evernote, but I don't think so. No, I don't. But in preferences under appearance, which one was it? There's this where they're grayed out, and these ones are grayed out. You want to set those in the theme. I wish I could answer more on that, but it's definitely not something that every person needs to learn or anything like that. What was the channel you referred to for composers? You missed it. That was Eric W. Eric Wickstrom. I don't think his channel's big enough to have a unique URL. But if you just look up Eric W, you should be able to find him. How can I make shortcuts like FL Studio? It's been so long since I've used FL Studio, even though I own it. I just I just don't know it that well anymore. The only shortcuts that I remember are like in the browser, and I thought they were called favorites. But maybe you mean like mouse modifiers and stuff like that. Put some clarification in the comments. If you mean like how do you make the mouse work the same as FL Studio in the sequencer, then probably the answers are with mouse modifiers page in preferences. How well does Softtube Console 1 integrate with Reaper or other control surface recommendations? I've heard that the Console 1 is very good now. It wasn't at first, but it is very good now. The Softtube YouTube channel has at least one video on using it with Reaper. I'm very interested in getting the Fader 1 or Console 1 Fader box. Right now I'm using the Behringer BCF 2000. It takes up a lot of space on my desk. It's big and it's noisy, and I kind of dislike that, but at the end of the day it does really help my work, so I'm keeping it for now. The the Softtube one is $800, I think. So it's really hard for me to justify that cost right now, because that's basically like another new computer sort of cost. So, but yeah, I would love to try one, and I've heard and seen that they work really well. Do you do much freelance work, mastering, mixing for bands? Not as much as I used to. YouTube and kind of supporting the community with videos and tutorials and one-on-one help and all that kind of stuff. That's full time for me. So I used to be looking for work like that, and I would end up mostly working online for bands, doing their drum editing or guitar editing, pocketing stuff, and that was great. But YouTube was a different sort of challenge for me, and that took off in a different way. So yeah. But if I stopped doing YouTube, I would probably be going back to that. Not sure if okay. You find a way to select several projects in Finder and add them all to the render queue with the same render settings without having to open them one by one in Reaper. That's interesting. I'd have to think about that. I don't think there is a quick way. It's definitely a custom script. There's actions like render project using the most recent render settings. You can. There is a way to run Reaper from command prompt. Yeah, that's more of a custom advanced thing. Do I have a favorite MIDI keyboard for Reaper? I haven't tried any of the really new stuff. A year or two ago, I got the Arturia Mini Lab, and I loved the software, but the controller was kind of crap. My Nocturne keyboard, I love this one here, and this thing, I love, sort of, but they've abandoned it. So, I'm kind of stuck. The Native Instruments stuff, I guess, would probably be the best. I don't really know. What's the most profitable income from all your music production outlets? I don't know what's the most profitable. I don't really think about each one individually or like separate them. I try not to even think about money more than like once or twice a month. I just hope that at the end of the month when I look, it's a good number. I guess I just try to stay busy, and I find that if I'm looking at the money constantly, it puts me in a bad mood or puts me in the wrong sort of mindset, and I kind of lose sight of what I started out doing. So have I ever done private lessons? Yeah, I do tons of private lessons, especially since the lockdown. I've done probably more in the last 4 weeks or 6 weeks than like the rest of the year or like all of last year. I'll put this up on the screen. Come on. Sometimes the Stream Deck just refuses. Okay, so there it is on the screen, reaperblog.net/reaper-lessons, and it's $50 an hour. You can schedule a time right here. You can choose a time that works for you in your time zone. It will put it onto my calendar in my time zone, and it's very easy. We use Zoom. I can hear you, you can hear me. We can see each other if we want. It's all a very good system. And most of the people I do lessons with end up booking 2 or 3 in the end. So it's definitely a big part of my income, especially recently. Cool. Any more questions, guys? I think I've caught up. I don't think I missed any, but just repeat them if missed. I'm still interested in getting some lunchtime ideas, if you have any. Because I've been getting bored of sandwiches and stuff. I feel guilty if I make myself like a plate of nachos for lunch. I feel like as good as that is going to make me feel in the end, it's not, or in the moment, it's not going to be good for the rest of my day. I really want to get a streaming schedule going because I have the equipment, I have the time, just I'm rarely in the mood, I guess. But I should figure out a good day and time and do this weekly. Maybe even do it daily again for a little bit. But is this a good time? I guess this is a good time for you guys. There's 34 of you right now. Scrambled tofu and onion. Tofu and soy sauce. Sometimes when playing a virtual instrument through the in-app MIDI keyboard, sometimes notes get sustained and keep playing. Any reason why this happens? I think that happens if you're holding a key and then click the mouse out of that interface, and it will sustain because it still thinks you're holding the key. As soon as possible, try to get a real MIDI keyboard because it just works so much better. Could you touch on splits and takes? If I stop a take early, it'll chop the previous takes as well. Okay, so when that happens, drag the right edge of the take to the end of the recording or to the end of the project, and then continue making recordings into the same take or into the same item. That's the only way to manage that. Toast with melted cheese, a sunny egg, and a big slab of tomato. Yeah, sounds good. There's no settings to alter that behavior? Not really. It's all about just managing your takes as you record it. There's going to be a split because of ending the recording early. You can't, I guess one thing you can, need to check this actually. I'm going to, just give me a sec. I'm going to test this idea. But I'm pretty sure that, yeah, I'm pretty sure that if you, wrong button. No, I'm wrong. I'm completely wrong on that. Okay, so if you're using a normal record mode, then you're going to have those splits wherever you stop. If you use, after your first recording, you should be switching to an overdub record mode. So, so time selection autopunch or item selection autopunch. And if you don't know where that is, it's in the main toolbar. I mean, it's in the transport bar. So, no, wrong button. So record mode normal, record mode time selection autopunch. In the default theme, this is very disorienting. Okay, default theme, it looks similar. So I use time selection autopunch a lot, and that really saves a lot of time. So still getting used to these keyboard shortcuts. Okay, so I'll record here, right, and then record again in the same spot, and then stop somewhere. Now it's split. If you want to manage your takes like this, you trim this out to like somewhere past the end of the recording. Then you can go into time selection autopunch mode, make a time selection around your item, and when you record, and it can be shorter, it can be longer, or whatever, and then stop anywhere. And now the take will end, but the item will be the full length. So I hope that makes sense. How come despite different settings, Reaper always creates new paths when rendering? I don't know what you mean by that, but I would. It shouldn't make a new path when rendering unless you put a slash in your render to file name. So if we do slash project slash, I don't know, final, it's going to make a folder called the project name slash final. So it shouldn't put like each thing in a separate folder or anything like that. Okay, what else? When you zoom in on stream, we can see 2 mouse pointers. I did not know that, and I don't know how to fix that. I'm using a Windows thing called, oh yeah, there is. Why is that? Using a thing called Glass Brick. I'll just have a look at my settings here. Maybe there is something that will hide the mouse. I don't know. Doesn't seem to be a setting for that. Well, sorry about that. I guess I'll have to look for something else. When editing Reaper WRB in browser, it can take a while before my iPad WRB app bookmark gets updated. Any faster way? Okay, so after you modify something, go to the home page and then tap the WRB, what do you call it? The logo. The logo should update in browser. But if it doesn't, then it's some bug with caching and stuff like that. We've been trying to solve all those issues. We tried the V6 dark mode theme posted on the stash. No, I don't think so. I haven't tried a lot of the Reaper 6 themes. One I just tried the other day, yesterday I guess it was, Nova 202. And this is a pretty nice theme. I think this is a really nice theme. I wish I was on a high DPI monitor, actually. Now that I have these expensive monitors, I'm like, gosh, I wish they were high DPI, not just big. Oh well. Think you double mouse because you scaled Windows use at 100%. But why would that have anything to do with the mouse? I don't know. I'll look into it. Standard V6 theme, but it's compatible with dark mode. Oh. Okay. Oh, you think maybe because my stream output is 1080p and my capture is 1440p? It could be that. But yeah, I don't know. I can see it in my stream preview that it that's weird. Okay. Thanks for telling me about that. I wouldn't have noticed that until I bet it's my video today that I haven't edited. Oh well. So what was that theme actually called? V6 dark mode? Let's look that up. My video pops up as the first result. Okay, theme also works by itself, but it makes it coherent if you have dark mode or a dark theme for Windows. Oh, so it's mostly like the ReEQ looks better. Yeah, ReEQ looks really bad on Windows, I think. So that's default. I guess it's the same on mine. Same on most of them, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that's cool. I'm not sure how they managed that. Let's try it out. Where is the link? Oh, this is too complicated. All right. Well, if it wasn't so complicated, I would try it right now. I find it makes it look more professional with the windows being dark too. Yeah, I agree. I don't like the look of these. But I can live with it. Did you guys notice that in my theme I've got a fader that changes color when you arm it? Have I ever explained that? Do you want me to? So, so in my theme, I've got a, what is it? I've got a layout called red, and it's here a few times in the DPI translation section. It's also in the MCP section. I just basically copied one of the other ones. So layout, the first is the name. No, the first is the name of the layout, and then second one is the folder that it's in. So if we look in my, how do I cancel search? There we go. They've got a folder called red, and here I've got a folder called 150, and inside is one called red, and there's this image inside. So yeah, so I've got this layout here, and with just having this image in here will make it use this image. It will replace the image whenever that is called, and then this is sort of the layout stuff, just so that it appears in the menus. So I can set this track specifically to the red layout, or the 200% red, or 150 red at any time, right? But set this back to default. But to make it turn red whenever I'm record armed, I use the auto color. So in auto color, I've got a track type, filter by record armed. You can just select from any of these when you right click. Oops. I'm not changing the track color, icons, or TCP layout, and then the MCP layout is red. And if I was on a high DPI screen, I would have selected 150 red. And then make sure that in options, enable auto track layout is on. So I think that's a pretty neat little addition to a custom theme. Hi everyone, can anyone please help with some tips on how to be happy, because I never am. Yeah, that's a serious problem. And I think you have to find what makes you happy. And if it's an all day, every day thing, then see a doctor. But if it's occasional, just tendency to be pessimistic or depressed or whatever, it's probably a change of environment is needed. And I'm sorry about missing your comment here. You got to find what makes you happy, and then double down on that. And if it's people in your life that are making you depressed, or just not finding any joy in life, then it's your environment, it's your job, it's all those sorts of things. So yeah, get more sun, exercise, eat well, all those things. It's amazing how taking care of your body takes care of your mind as well. All right, so went back to another question. Try to record a song in Reaper, can't find the sound for my vocals that I want. Any advice? I don't know what what you have in mind either. What I would suggest, either you don't know your tools well enough, the basic tools, or you don't know what you want yet. But if you can figure out what you want it to sound like, improve the source and improve your knowledge of the basic tools, because 90% of mixing is EQ and compression, volume adjustments, for vocals, you've got delays and reverbs and other special effects, but yeah, I mean, if it should sound pretty close to right coming out of the microphone. Do I have the mixer permanently on the other screens since I have more now? I don't. But I could. What a crappy answer. I have one of my layouts, so you won't be able to see it. But if I press 2, it full screens my arrange view, but on my second monitor, I've got this, and I've got this, and I've got this. So I showed this in the screen sets video, but basically my screen set 2, it covers both. My main reason for having 2 screens is so that I can have a full screen, full resolution preview of my videos as I'm editing them. Yeah, I'm not a Reaper developer. I'm just a fan. I started out as a fan, like you guys, and I started making videos and tutorials and things because it helps me learn, helps me keep my skills up. You are welcome for the video making. Yeah. Do no way to click the track button so it defaults to exclusive solo. Is there a preference for that? I can't remember if there was a preference for mute solo. I don't know why. I thought there was a default mode for muting. No, there isn't. Control Alt click. I feel like I think you've asked me this before. Yeah, it's just going to be a Control Alt click or Command Alt click. Or setting up a shortcut. I feel like I've sent this to you. Unsolo all tracks, solo / unsolo tracks. So if you set this one to Shift S. Nope. I'm not used to this keyboard. I keep pressing the wrong. That was solo. Damn it. Mute. I wanted exclusive mute. I mean, it's the same thing. What was it? Was it solo or was it mute? Which one did you want? Exclusive solo. Yeah. No, that is the one. Solo. This is how I solo stuff anyways. But with the other action that I was using. What was it? I think it's oh, the Me Too Beets has an action as well. So I think that's what I was using. Yeah, that's what I do. What would you say is the key to being more productive as a music creator? I really struggle with being focused on what I do. I'm trying to keep a pace of a track a month. Is this reasonable? I think just making it part of your routine. Make music making part of your daily habit. If you can't commit to 4 hours of production a day or something like that, then start with 10 minutes. I sound a bit tired today. Yeah, I do. I don't get to talk to people other than shouting at my kids. Yeah, like any habit that you want to make a part of your life, you have to put in the time to do it every day. So a track a month could turn into 2 tracks a month, and I feel like a track a month is kind of on the lower end, but there will be months when I don't really produce a track as well. I'll be working on other things and feeling fulfilled from those things, but if I wanted to be a professional musician or producer or whatever, it's got to be a faster pace than that. So, but also you can't get into the trap of feeling like you're not good enough, and then you're not good enough because of feeling like that. So it's very easy to get into that. And I hope that's not where you're at right now. But I would say just start slow, maybe spend less time researching, more time doing, and things like separating the sound design process or file management or sample library auditioning, and like just start preparing all your tools so that you're ready when the inspiration's there. So making a library of all of your favorite kick drums, just getting them into one folder so they're ready to go, and you don't need to go through all these different libraries and things. How much do you think the productivity in mixing will raise with a Surface controller? I find that I use a control surface for a small part of the mixing process, but I wouldn't want to be without it for that. So I'm using it a lot for setting the initial track volumes and doing that very quickly. So instead of being able to move one fader at a time, I can move up to 8. I can jump between tracks very easily. I can follow the track selection. I can pan things. I can, when I'm in latch preview mode, I can set the fader levels very easily. And I don't need to draw in individual points in the envelopes, which I find is the most tedious part of mixing. Like if I'm in the envelopes drawing individual things and then making sure that they're even lines and stuff like that, instead of just using the automation tools that we have, it's like I've gone off the deep end. I need a break, things like that. But yeah, I would definitely have at least one fader control surface, and then another way to control sends and last touched automation, parameter automation, things like that. Do I have troubles with third-party plugins like stuttering? It depends on the plugins. There was one setting that I found recently in Reaper that I needed the opposite settings on Mac versus Windows. So what is it? I lost it. Is it audio? Can never find anything in these preferences. I don't know where this thing is. Okay, well, I don't know exactly where it is or what it's called, but basically when you load a plugin, it silences it while loading, and I have no idea where that is. I was looking at it yesterday. It's not that. Does anyone know where that is? I don't know. So anyways, when you insert a plugin, there's a preference to silence the plugin as it's loading, and I was finding that it was when that was on, it would make an audible glitch, and then when it's off, it loads faster, and there was not any glitches, and I don't know why. I don't know. I was just looking at it yesterday. I can't find it now. I thought it was, yeah, I thought it was in the VST settings. I'm sure someone will find that. Okay. On the control surface topic, I think I showed this earlier. I've got the Novation Nocturne, which if it wasn't abandoned at this point, there would be a good recommendation for a plugin controller. On Mac, you would use audio unit plugins with it, and you can map all the knobs to things. But if not, you can map them with MIDI. Yeah, it's a pretty good controller. I like that it's touch sensitive and it has very flexible software with it. Have we done anything about scoring to video? We talked about it a little bit earlier today, but that's not a thing that I am good at. I'm not a composer. So I'm making music myself. Most of the music that I make is like background music or demo music for the videos. So I haven't really made music as an artist in quite a while. Have I tried Touch Portal? Did a Touch Portal template for my son to control Reaper for sight reading practice. Touch Portal. Have I seen Touch Portal? It sounds familiar. Oh, okay. That thing. I've been looking at this for streaming stuff, and I figured I don't need that because I have a Stream Deck. Yeah, the other option specifically with using something like that for Reaper is my own Reaper WRB. One sec, gotta type this in. So we built this web app, which it's not a new technology. It's using stuff built into Reaper already, but we've made an HTML remote builder. It makes web remotes and then hosts them. I actually don't have this set up on this computer yet, but there's a lot you can do with it. You can build your own remotes, and so it's going to be very similar to the Touch Portal thing, but instead of like sending keyboard shortcuts or MIDI or something like that, it's using Reaper's command IDs. So, and it's easier to set up than like, what do you call that? OSC and things like that. Onload VST muted. Yeah, it's got to be something like that. Let's look for VST. I don't know. It's bothering me so bad that I couldn't find it. It's somewhere. Somewhere on these 50 pages of preferences. I thought maybe it was on the playback page. No. I think it's actually on my website somewhere. There was like a bug I had. This is killing me, so I need to look this up. Yeah, so I wrote this in 2012. Bypass audio while opening plugin config window. Okay, on Mac, I suggest checking that. On Windows, uncheck it. Unless you get crashes, and then check it. I can't believe I looked at that page so many times, and I just did not see it. I didn't look for bypass audio. Okay. So John Watkins Touch Portal, I'm going to look into that because it seems like a good alternative to using the Stream Deck. What button do I press? This one. I've got the Stream Deck. The USB cable is too tight. Can't show you. But I use it a lot. I need it for these camera switching things. So if you are setting up your son to record himself using Reaper with something like that, I think that's a great idea. But with that said, you can do it with Reaper's built-in tools as well. Monochromatic says you just discovered Ninjam and you can't stop playing with it. Use it every day. That's awesome to hear. I haven't really used it myself. I feel weird like joining in with strangers' jams, but I know that's the point of it. But like I just feel socially awkward in those situations, and yeah, it's awesome that you were able to use a tool like that. You optimize your project templates so that Reaper became self-aware, and now it criticizes all your EQ moves. Well, I guess at some point you'll get better. That reminds me of when I used the mastering assistant in Ozone, and the EQ was basically flat except for like a 0.1 dB move. in the mid range. Like, is my EQ like already fine, or like is this thing broken? Okay, and everyone is answering my question while I was still searching. Have I tried coding my own JS plugins? Not really. I've got like one or two that are not really coded, I would say. If you have Repack, you can look up Reaper blog. And I've got a few in here. So the macro controller, inside it's just sliders. They don't do anything. But you can use them to control multiple other parameters in other plugins. So you could have a slider that controls like 3 EQ band cues or something like that, or you could, increase the reverb as you're filtering and, or adding distortion, things like that. So just a utility plugin. This one, minus 12 dB dim. I made this when I was mastering and I didn't have a monitoring controller where I could press a dim button. So just having this on the track decreases the volume by 12 dB and just unbypass it to put it back to normal. No controls or anything. Inside, the code is ridiculous. It's input SPL times 0.25, and that's it. So it's a quarter of the output. And then there's another one that is a multi-channel trim, and so this will trim up to 32 output channels. So if you have something like Easy Drummer and you have a multi-channel outs and you don't want to tweak all of the individual fader levels or something like that, you can put this after, turn it down by 2 or 3 dB so the inputs of those individual tracks aren't clipping anymore. Beyond that, I'm not really into coding in my own plugins or anything like that. I did a stream a while ago on some sort of modular, semi-modular plugins for making your own plugins or effects. What was that? Anyone remember? I don't remember the names of my own videos. I don't know. If you look at my live stream archives or playlist, you'll see one where I guess I did a video and a stream on it. It's like a modular thing. You put these blocks in, draw some lines to make your own plugins. I think that's a lot more accessible for most people than to just start typing and come up with something that actually works in the end. We've got 40 viewers right now. How's it going, guys? Happy to have you here. Chug a beer for penance. I don't have any beer. I haven't drank beer in like a year. Has anyone else tried Psyche's Reflectosaurus Alpha JSFX? I haven't yet. Oh, you didn't know the macro controller was mine? Yes. Glad you like it. Oh, my brain's going to mush. I need to eat again, I think. It's been an hour and a half. 0 dropped frames, no warnings from YouTube. Awesome. This has been, on a technical level, a good stream. I'm a bit scatterbrained, but I think that's fine. Very curious. I'd like to see if I can increase the bit rate even higher, and then I don't need to change settings between streaming and recording. The re-EQ. Re-EQ, I have not given a fair chance. And why don't I have it? Is it not in Repack? It's not. Okay, we'll have to come back to that one. Spacebox TD3 asked what kind of music you all making. I tend to go for like a synthwave, retrowave sort of music in my demos, but I also really enjoy post-rock, stuff like that, ambient guitar stuff. Kretz, yes, exactly. I just couldn't remember that. And someone told me what Kretz stood for, and I don't remember. Kretz is wires or something like that. All right, I've got an idea. Let's wrap this up, and I'm gonna send everyone over to somebody else's stream. Who else is online? I want everyone to go over to Bjorgvin's stream, Audio Issues, and I'm gonna say hi. Say Reaper Blog sent you. So click through. We're gonna wrap this up. Make a quick outro tune for you. I'll put some music on here. Bjorgvin from Audio Issues will be happy to get these 30 people in from the stream saying hi. Tell them Reaper Blog sent you, and yeah, do a little bit of a raid. I know that's more of a Twitch thing, but we can do it on YouTube as well. So yeah. I want to see you guys in Bjorgvin's chat saying hi. Where's my button? What button am I looking for? Wrong button. All right, go over to Bjorgvin's channel. Say hi. It was great to talk to you guys today. That's it for the stream. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys later.